If you scrolled social media this week, you saw the firestorm. Reports that the NBA banned LeBron James for defending a Christian player's free speech. The narrative spreading across YouTube and Twitter paints a picture of a league in total collapse. According to these viral videos, the NBA is ruthlessly purging religious expression, and LeBron has finally chosen to fall on his sword to fight a progressive corporate agenda. But there is one major problem with this massive league-shaking scandal. Not a single word of it is true. LeBron didn't take a side, nobody was banned, and the entire controversy is a complete fabrication. Which raises a genuine mystery. If the most famous athlete on the planet wasn't actually punished by the league, how did millions of people become absolutely convinced that he was? To find the answer, we have to look at what happens when a massive information vacuum is filled by an online echo chamber. The fake LeBron story didn't start with him. It started with the very real, very messy exit of a backup guard named Jaden Ivey. In late March of 2026, the Chicago Bulls made a sudden, though procedurally routine, roster move. The team announced they were waiving Jaden Ivey, a former top 5 pick who had been struggling with injuries, officially citing conduct detrimental to the team. That conduct involved a lengthy Instagram live rant, in which Ivey explicitly attacked the NBA's Sport of Pride Month and the LGBTQ+ community, calling the league's promotion a celebration of unrighteousness. But as this story migrated into the echo chambers of social media, Ivey's specific, controversial comments began to vanish. Online influencers highlighted his faith while methodically deleting the rhetoric that actually triggered the waiver. These sanitized fragments were stitched back together to present a much simpler, highly shareable narrative, that a devout athlete was being fired purely for believing in the truth of the gospel. By erasing the nuance of the actual event, the internet manufactured a flawless image of religious persecution that was perfectly engineered to go viral. Hours later, Ivey broadcast a second viral live stream from an airplane, diving deep into a sermon about eternal judgment and the fleeting nature of worldly success. During the stream, he shifted his focus away from his own career and began using the most famous names in the history of the sport as metaphors. He claimed that on Judgment Day, the legendary careers and championship rings of Michael Jordan and Steph Curry would mean absolutely nothing without salvation. Then came the fatal name drop. Ivey explicitly grouped LeBron James into this list, invoking the king as the ultimate symbol of earthly achievement that ultimately fails to satisfy. The digital mob largely ignored the theological points Ivey was making. Instead, they seized on LeBron's name, using his history of social activism to demand he break his silence, effectively forcing a polarized showdown between the game's biggest star and its newest martyr. The crowd didn't necessarily care about Ivey's theology. They were using LeBron's fame to force the public to pick a side in a fight LeBron hadn't even joined. Within days, a coordinated campaign from conservative media and faith-based influencers created an intense pressure cooker, demanding that LeBron address the situation. LeBron responded with a notoriously strategic silence. No social media posts, no interview responses, and not a word to the reporters waiting for a quote. For the outrage machine, this silence was a problem. Viral cycles require a dramatic climax to keep viewers clicking, and LeBron's refusal to participate was starving the algorithm of its payoff. When the real world doesn't provide the ending a viral news cycle needs, clickbait channels find it more profitable to simply invent a new one. They began producing videos of a fictional reality, one where LeBron finally takes Ivey's side and the NBA immediately bans him for it. It was the perfect ending to a story that never happened, and it generated millions of views. The NBA operates on contracts, legal standards, and verified conduct. Yet it became the villain in a digital landscape that answers to no rules at all. One bench player's rant and one superstar's silence were all the echo chamber needed to manufacture a massive, leak-shaking scandal out of thin air. When you contrast the deafening internet noise with the physical reality of the situation, the difference is striking. In reality, a struggling player was waived for violating team standards, and a famous player chose to ignore him. In the digital world, those same facts launched an epic fictional war of religious persecution, corporate censorship, and suspended legends. It shows that in the modern media environment, you no longer have to speak or act to become the centerpiece of a culture war. Today, silence is just a blank canvas for the outrage machine to paint its own reality, challenging us to look past the thumbnail the next time we're presented with a perfect narrative.